Now, I'm very pleased to say we have a music legend on the programme for you now. In a few seconds, we're going to speak to Roger Taylor from Queen. He's just released his new track, Isolation, which has been composed during lockdown, written it, played all the instruments as well. Let's have a listen. Let us welcome Roger Taylor to the programme. Roger, hello.
Oh, hello.
Great.
Very nice to be with you.
Yeah, great to speak to you. Often as a professional broadcaster, you have to talk up some right old rubbish, but I love the track. Roger, the inspiration, I guess, is obvious. How's lockdown been for you?
Well, I think like everybody else, because everybody was affected by this kind of equally, I guess, although we were lucky enough to have a nice big garden to roam around in, but I really felt for people in apartments and smaller places. So, but I think anxiety really, and not knowing what was going to happen next, and then being confronted with this kind of endless tide of information, some of which seemed to contradict itself. I think it was an anxious time for everybody, and which is only slowly receding.
That for me has been the extraordinary thing, and I appreciate what you're saying about those who've got larger houses and access to open spaces. If you've been in a tower block with 4 kids, it must have been pretty horrendous. But the great leveler has been mental health and psychological issues, and they can affect anyone. And have you experienced that with people around you and yourself? Because it's been hugely difficult, hasn't it?
Well, yeah, it has. I mean, like I was just with my wife, and just the two of us for 9 weeks. We were down in Cornwall, in our house there, and I was sort of sitting in my garden shed, and thank goodness we had all this incredible weather. So I was sort of sitting in the sun, and I thought, well, I'll just write a song to say how we feel, and maybe people can relate to that. But it was a kind of anxious time, I think.
What about your critical faculties, Roger, in isolation? Who've you bounced this one off? Because you wrote Under Pressure. You've written some great tunes. Were you confident that this cut the mustard? Was it just were you playing it to your wife?
Never have a clue. I never have a clue. I didn't bounce it off anybody. I didn't even send it to Brian, but my secretary sent it to Brian. And Brian, my kind of brother,
Yeah.
He said, "Nice track, Rog." And so I thought, oh, that's good. And no, I didn't really bounce off anybody, I just sort of wrote it out of myself.
And one thing which, again, is interesting is the lockdown's affected some people. They've gone kind of into a shell, into isolation. You've obviously, your creative genes continue to flow. That's one way of coping with it, I guess.
Well, I think it was. I think people really needed to find a complete routine. And I found the routine helped. I get up probably a bit later than normal, and have poached eggs on toast, and watch something called Below Decks, which is some really awful TV show. And
like the rest of
us, that would be my little routine in the morning, and then I'd sort of get up and do a bit of exercise and try and walk around a garden, and et cetera,
So, so you're a bad lockdown person then, really? You're a sociable guy, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, the pubs were shut. It was terrible, wasn't it?
Well, we're just talking about that, actually. Possibly the 4th of July. Would you go back? I mean, we all want to support the pubs, but would you go back if it meant sitting behind a plastic screen and all that, Roger? If you go
I don't know. Yeah, who knows? I mean, what's it going to be like? I think that, I don't know about the 2-meter rule and all that. I think that will be relaxed. We're going to have to learn to live with it, but I just don't know. I mean, I have to say, I'd love to go to the pub, but I'm not sure I particularly want to.
Well, that's what some of these people have been telling us that today. The extension of pubs is gigs, and last week on the programme we were talking about driving gigs are the big thing at the moment to try and get them off the ground. Could you see Queen doing that when you get back on tour?
I've got to be honest, no. I mean, we had to cancel or postpone our tour of Europe and England and Britain. And So we've got exactly the same dates next year, and we are desperately hoping, obviously, that everything is going to be running more normally by then. I don't know about completely the same. But yeah, I think things will get back to normal as we learn to live with this. Hopefully there'll be a vaccine, et cetera, et cetera. But I think, humanity is very clever and very inventive. And I think we'll find ways around it. And I think within a year from now, I'd be really amazed if we're still, really at having social difficulties. I think things can only get better, really.
Roger, while we have you, you're by no means 90, but your last birthday was a significant. Yeah, if I could put it that way, your last birthday was a significant one. Have you got to the point? I mean, Queen, legendary, we know that. The recent film, of course, will have got a lot of new fans. Have you got to the point where you sit in your armchair and assess your personal legacy, or is it just always looking forward for you?
I think it's always looking forward, really. I think Brian and I realised quite a while ago, when we found this wonderful guy called Adam Lambert, that we really, because we really loved going out touring and playing our music to people. And we sort of, okay, hands up, that's what we do, and that's what we're best at, and that's what we still enjoy. And I think at the age that we are, this advanced age, we're really lucky to be able to still do it. So we thought we sort of got an agreement. Well, as long as we still can do it properly, we will. But obviously, everything's finite, and well, there will be my rocking chair is somewhere in the distance. It
wouldn't work with the drum kit, would it? That with the rhythm, I guess. But look, with Adam, I read an interview just a moment ago where you said it was fate that you met him. Can I go back to soon after Freddie's death?
Sure.
Was it ever conceivable to you that you wouldn't play that music again live? Was there a point where that might have happened?
No, to be honest, Brian and myself, we both thought, that's it, that's over. It was incredible, it was wonderful, it was fabulous. We had the tribute for Freddie and to raise awareness about HIV/AIDS, etc. And we sort of started that charity on the back of Freddie's, horrible death. And we thought the band is over. Okay, it was amazing, but it just kind of refused to die. And then we had the musical and etc. And then we did the odd little tour, and then we did a lot of big tours with Adam, and then of course the movie. And somehow the Queen just became part of the wallpaper, and refused to lie down.
Yeah, you just listening to your new track again. Isolation. I do love it, and you've got a great voice. Well, I'm not just blowing smoke, but but I can hear Freddie singing it as well. Is that a good thing as far as you're concerned? Do you still do you have an ear for him when you're writing tunes? I don't know, how does that work?
Well, not really, I wrote a song years ago called Heaven for Everyone, and Fred said, "Oh, I love that one. I want to sing that one." And I thought, well, okay, you sing it, because you're a better singer than I am. And, which is, true, we were lucky. We had 3 singers in our band, and, but Freddie was really, a part, and, he was something else. And, I don't really think of Freddie's voice, particularly, if you're right, we all just put what we could in,
Roger, it's been brilliant talking to you. Tell me if I'm getting too personal, but I know that your daughter's a GP. So that must have brought the front line right to your door, and then you're just a dad. You're not a rock superstar, are you? How's that worked for you during lockdown? Your level of concern?
Absolutely. We were really concerned, because at the beginning of all this, there really wasn't enough PPE. If it was out of date or if it just wasn't there, I'm not sure, but it really wasn't there. And I think when medical professionals had to go out, a lot of them, and buy it, and privately, I think there were terrible mistakes made there. And I think, and I do think the masks are a great idea, because it's not about you. It's about you spreading it to other people. And it just makes sense to me to wear a mask on public transport or in public, you know.
Yeah. How is she? She's come through it okay, has she, your daughter?
She's great. She's great. But, you know, they were all very concerned.
Yeah.
And I can see why. But she's great.
Well,
and,
look.
yeah.
Good luck with the song, Roger. It's great. Thank you.
Thank you
Very much for talking to us. Thanks. I'm going all fanboy now, but thanks for all the pleasure you've given us over the years. It's.
You're very kind. You're very kind.
When you do shuffle off.
It's been our pleasure too. You know.
Yeah. Well, at least you can go happy knowing that millions love what you've done. Great to speak to you, Roger.
As I said, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Roger Taylor from Queen. Have a listen. It's you can find it on those kind of social media bases. Isolation. It's really good.
Yeah.
Did I suck up too much?
No. Look,
I love Queen. They're good.
Well, no, they are brilliant. I was going to say, if you're going to suck up, you can suck up legitimately to a member of Queen.
And he's a proper legend. I mean, they are.
Yeah. Oh no. Look, everybody loves Queen.
It's not some kind of Bros interview that there's.
No, hang on. I'm agreeing with you. Don't go dissing Bros. I just like the way he very casually says, you know, I wrote a song called Heaven for Everyone, which I immediately started to sing in my head. You know, it's just that casual sort of thing. No, that was great. I enjoyed that.